Prince Harry, or Henry Charles Arbel David, he is the younger son of Charles. He abandoned the royal title. We will go on depth later, but for now, please have a listen to this recent interview. In this interview, he explains in a cryptic manner why he gave up his titles.
Feels like, I don't know whether there's a little bit of worrying about your wife being under the same pressure as your mother was under, but I feel like you're living in this goldfish bowl, the interest is huge, the pressure is great. I mean, do you want to talk me through the last year and where you're at?
I think you probably, slightly hit the nail on the head. My mum clearly taught me a certain set of values of which I will always try and uphold, despite the role and the job that sometimes that entails, if you know what I mean. But I think I will always protect my family, and now I have a family to protect. So everything that she went through and what happened to her is incredibly raw every single day, and that's not me being paranoid, that's just me not wanting a repeat of the past.
Abandoning the royal family is no mere child's game. You need guts. Just to give you an idea, any member of the royal family in England receives a very generous life pension to be able to live without working any single day in a literal manner. This as well comes with a protection with the highest caliber that not only billionaires will pay a fortune, but as well the royal family doesn't have to pay any cent. These services entail not only securities but also secretaries, attorneys, cleaning personnel, chefs, and everything that you can imagine. All this service is provided to them, that way they can be well attended. For this reason, abandoning a royal title means that you're abandoning heavens to be amongst mortals, just like Adam and Eve were exiled for the Garden of Eden. With no pensions nor properties inherited from the royalty, Prince Harry must acquire a property out of his own pocket. Of course, if he wants to maintain a high status of life for his wife and kid, and also himself, he must work alongside his wife. Now let's talk about his life, because his life and the life of this person is really interesting. He and his older brother William received an intolerable amount of infamous attention of the news when their mother, the most loved Princess Diana, died in a tragic accident. Diana, although she was a descendant from the nobles, she had a charismatic personality with the people. In fact, her nickname was the People's Princess. She was loved even more than the Queen, thing that in England has no comparison. When she became wife of Prince Charles, Great Britain celebrated in unison. She was considered the princess of princesses to the loving eyes of her people. For the love and acceptance she had, she became an icon of the 20th century, and I assure you that you will see her represented in any way or another in the pop culture. She outshined the rest of the family, to whom about the people they felt much antipathy because in addition to keep them through taxes, they used to have an attitude distant and insufferable towards the people in England. After the marriage, unusual gossip started occurring, and I say unusual because in that era it was really tainting to the image and reputation of the royal family of Great Britain. Keep that in mind, in those times the collective consciousness was different. When the marriage of Diana and Prince Charles started to crumble, it was echoed everywhere in the news and got to the people's ear. When that occurred, people quickly began to side with Princess Diana. More so, people knew that Charles had an affair, and people started rejecting him and the Queen, During that time, the queen was seen as a maleficent witch, a villain, a person that is pure evil, and in the other hand, Princess Diana was seen as a legitimate queen that they yearned to have. To add the icing in the cake, after the separation, Diana was having a relationship with an Arabic prince named Dodi Al-Fayed. Sorry if I mispronounced that name. This produced fury with the crown. The more they talk bad about Diana with the press, the reaction not only from the people in England, also around the world was major, because I insist, everyone sided with her.
Get the image, they have to get the picture, and they then later on sort of say, I couldn't help myself. So I don't know if that's what this person was doing. I wasn't.
Then, in August 31st, 1997, by night, the tragedy occurred in Paris. It paralyzed the world. An accident car. In that car, not only Prince Diana and Dodi Al-Fayed and the driver of the car, Henry Poole, were killed. But the only survivor was the bodyguard, Trevor Jones. Immediately after that, it was suspected that something wasn't right, because the driver was an expert at the wheel, not just a nobody. And the excuse is that the paparazzi were following the car and made the driver accelerate in the highway in Paris to lose them. It's unthinkable that figures such as Diana and Al-Fayed or the bodyguard would have asked the driver not to drive the car as a possessed demon, risking their lives. That, amongst other things, made people around the world suspect that the car was tampered with. The brakes ready to give a fail. Because the bodyguard, the only survivor, said that they were trying to escape not only the paparazzi, but also a suspicious car that made the driver and the bodyguard scared so much so that they had no other choice but to accelerate. This and the brake failure were the perfect excuse to elaborate a complicated and complex assassination. Not only is any theory from the people, there also was a book that was incredibly famous that talked about it. The book was called The Murder of Princess Diana. Rumor has it that she was pregnant of Dodi Al-Fayed, thing that would result in a son born in the Muslim religion, thing that would cause an uproar in the royal family. The driver, Henry Poole, was also suspected in her murder. Although he's dead, this driver was also a bodyguard that used to work in various services and intelligence tied with the royal family in Great Britain. Another reason that they think they died was because a convalescent princess and the others were not taken to the closest hospital. Instead, they were taken to the farthest one from the accident, wasting precious time to save the victims' lives. And the justification was that they were taken to the best hospital of the region, and that's why they didn't choose the closest one. Let's remember that Diana did not die in an instant. Finally, the worst part is that they never even managed to find the car that caused the collision, which was described as a white Fiat, like the one you see in the screen. Also, what's odd is that the person responsible for the assassination never paid for the crime. The alleged paparazzi that were in the car also were non-existent. See, many paparazzi denied the involvement in that accident. It is unthinkable that they never found the responsible for the tragedy. The vehicle would have been hit in an angle that would give away the collision course. Simply put it, the vehicle disappeared without a trace, or was disappeared.
Shocking allegations about Princess Diana's death. Authorities now reviewing the new and sensational claim that she was actually murdered by the British government.
The analysis that Diana was killed has been the biggest event not only in the 1997, but as well as the decade of the 90s, and one of the most important in the 20th century. Harry and William would spend the roughest year. Their beloved mother, the people's princess, was dead under suspicious circumstances. It was a secret in voices, and ultimately nobody has been able to confirm. All this that I just told you, you might know it already, but it is important to have all the context present in mind. Having all this information at hand, let's listen to the interview with ex-Prince Harry, and please tell me what you think, or what do you understand with the words coming out from him. What do they mean?
You know, my mum clearly taught me a certain set of values of which I will always try and uphold, despite the role and the job that sometimes that entails, if you know what I mean. But I think I will always protect my family, and now I have a family to protect. So everything that she went through and what happened to her is incredibly raw every single day, and that's not me being paranoid, that's just me not wanting a repeat of the past.
Harry, Duke of Sussex, mostly known as the son of Princess Diana, abandoned the royal family in 2020. What is the reason? It has been directly said, but the interview leaves a clear idea what might be the reason. And if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend. Thank you so much. I upload very interesting content through my official spaces on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Please find me and join me in my social media. Serpa has spoke to you, and I wish you a good night.